Working girls and Main Street's upstairs rooms are an intimate part of Deadwood's legends and lore. Prostitutes, including Madam's Dirty M and Madame Mustachio, first arrived to cheering miners in July 1876 on Charlie Utter's wagon train. When the gold rush ended, the girls stayed and supported the economy throughout Prohibition and the Depression. Deadwood's brothels prospered until 1980, when they were raided by the FBI and padlocked by the authorities. After more than a century, this Deadwood institution was closed forever. The sporting ladies moved on. However, they aren't forgotten. Deadwood celebrates them in parade stories and musical reviews. Here's more from Deadwood History's executive director, Carolyn Weber.
And also there was a relationship, a really strange relationship between the residents and the community fathers here in Deadwood with the brothels, the ladies and the madams. There was an understood yet unwritten agreement that they had reached. If they stayed in the Badlands district, if they minded their manners, if they went to the doctors weekly and got checked for sexually transmitted diseases, and if they just behaved themselves and kept their noses clean and didn't solicit on the streets or in the bars or in the restaurants, then they were pretty much allowed to operate as they wanted to.
All of Deadwood is a National Historic Landmark District, and any new development or redevelopment, whether public or private, must be approved by its Historic Preservation Commission. Kevin Kuchenbecker is Deadwood's Historic Preservation Officer.
Through Deadwood's revitalization efforts, there was discussion on what to do with the upper floors for downtown Deadwood on historic Main Street. And we got to looking at our heritage and our history, and of course brothels played an important role in Deadwood's economic vitality. So about 4 years ago, or in 2015-16, through the Main Street Initiative and the Historic Preservation Office, we came up with the idea of perhaps the creation of a brothel museum to occupy the second floor of one of the former brothel buildings.
Over the years, many redevelopment projects in historic Deadwood have involved public-private partnerships where multiple entities come together for a common goal. Deadwood's Brothel Museum is just the latest example. Private real estate investor Wayne Morris, the owner of 610 Main Street, explains the role of his company, Nugget LLC.
This property was purchased 5 years ago. Of course, it wasn't just myself. It was, I have partners, Steve and Rick Stone in Watertown. And after we purchased it kind of turned into a little bit of a perfect storm, because at that same time, all the business people and other groups and the tax entities like the city, we hired Roger Brooks as a consultant how to take our Main Street, the next phase. And then I talked to Roger Brooks about what he thought about a brothel tour on Main Street, and he thought he was very excited about it. So then we started our negotiations with Deadwood History, Historic Preservation.
As the public, private, and nonprofits decided a brothel was a good fit for Deadwood, the loans, grants, and cash investment had to come together in one package. NeighborWorks Dakota Home Resources was in charge of servicing the loans. Mike Walker, executive director, explains how all the financing came together.
NeighborWorks is contracted by the City of Deadwood to service the Deadwood Historic Preservation Loan Program. When discussions began about revitalizing upper floors of Deadwood's historic Main Street, NeighborWorks worked closely with the City of Deadwood and Kevin Kuchenbecker, as well as the Deadwood Historic Preservation Commission, to develop a new loan program called the Commercial Upper Floor Revitalization Program. The loan program provides up to $250,000 at 0% interest for up to 3 years. And in addition to that, the loan program also provides a balloon option with a 30-year amortization to keep the payments low during the critical startup period of a new business. The best part of this program is its flexibility. In this case, we were able to loan money to Wayne Morris and the Nugget LLC in order to develop the upper floor of their property, as well as loan money to Carolyn Weber at Deadwood History to develop the new Deadwood Brothel Museum and Tour.
NeighborWorks provided the critical financial element in layering and structuring a package of custom loans with affordable terms that allowed the public, private, and nonprofit partners of the Brothel Museum to proceed with both its renovation and initial operation.
And we were able to get a lot of funding for this project in the form of loans through the Deadwood Historic Preservation Commission and NeighborWorks. Now, NeighborWorks is the organization that manages the loans for Deadwood Historic Preservation. So we've been working with both of those organizations.
It hadn't been for, of course, Historic Preservation, Neighborhood Works, very doubtful this project would ever taken place.
That century plus of local history, some famous and some infamous, is now organized and memorialized through the restoration of the upper rooms of Lower Main Street and its interpretive displays. Deadwood's Brothel Museum provides a deep and very realistic view of the role sex work played in the city's social and economic development.
Welcome to the brothel.
Thank you.